she's experiencing the greatest. I have never seen orgasms like this in my, initially I thought, I am that good, that's right. I'm Isabelle, I'm 51, so close to being 52. How the hell did that happen? I don't know. This is my beautiful wife, Margarita.
Also 51.
We have been together almost 32 years.
It was back in June of 1991.
Back in, like truly, it's been almost 32 years already. There should be an award for that, right? We met at an orientation meeting where I was fighting for being understood because I only spoke French, and literally, 20 minutes later, she's like, I speak both languages. Can I help you? Are you kidding me right now?
I was very shy, right? So 20 minutes was actually fast for me.
It was good. Meanwhile, for me, I was like, are you kidding me right now? And then, so that was probably June, you said, June,
yeah,
July. And then by December, we were an item. And
only to each other, because we didn't tell anybody for 2 years.
We didn't want our parents to think it was a phase, because we're in theater school, we're artists. Parents were going to say, I knew they were going to say, it's just a phase, and we didn't want that. So first of all, neither of us are gay. And so we didn't really understand what the hell was going on there. But we just knew that we loved each other. And 2 years later, we just truly committed, and the rest is history.
That's right.
For me, I was 32 years old, and I thought I'm way too young for this shit.
What was the symptom?
Absolute hot flashes, night sweats, just a ton of, it started more with night sweats.
Yeah.
As of 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I was just drenched every night. I didn't know where it was coming from, why this was. And even doctors would say, you're too young, it can't be that, it must be something else. And so now I know better, and now I know that it was exactly that. It was the whole, because I was fully menopause at 44.
For me, it was a little different. I would say I started having symptoms around my mid-40s. And there was definitely hot flashes, mood swings.
If you didn't say it, I was going to say it.
Mood swings. Okay, so maybe mood swings, then hot flashes. And for me, it's interesting because 5 years ago, I had an ablation because I had my period every day for a year. They wanted to do an ablation with the insertion of an IUD. And because she said that oftentimes after an ablation, symptoms can be worse, like cramping can be worse, like menstrual symptoms can be worse. And I just really just followed my gut because I am somebody that can't have I can't have piercings, my body rejects things. And I was like, it doesn't feel right to have an IUD, it just doesn't. So I said, nope, just do the ablation. And even like I was on the table, they're about to put me out. They're like, you're sure? Because it's painful if we have to put it in after, right? And I said, no, I don't want it. So they're like, okay, well, just know that you might have to come back if your symptoms are really bad and then it's gonna hurt. I went, okay. So anyway, I had none of that.
I decided to go on hormone therapy a few times without acting on it because, I don't know, I had heard so many horror stories around that. And so I would get the prescription, come home, and then decide, I'll just try to withstand it a little longer, and I'll withstand it a little longer. And then I would go back and get another prescription. And anyways, at some point it dawned on me. I thought, you know what? My body produces hormones naturally. It did. And so I believe that my body needs hormones to function. I could see that my mood was changing. I've never been someone with anxiety outside of before a big speaking gig. I would wake up with anxiety. I would go to bed with anxiety. I'd wake up in the middle of the night drenched with anxiety, worried about my first meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, which was with someone I love to work with. Like, this was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so the conversations between us, and you weren't at the stage where you needed or felt like you needed hormones at all, but for me it was, I was afraid, but then eventually I thought, what am I afraid of? It's something that my body produces, and it's natural, and I'm going the most natural way possible. So that for me, and in our couple, the conversations, the sex conversation, the mood conversation, the do we even love each other anymore conversation, because we're all
over the place.
All over
We're just
the place.
all over the place. There were moments where, because we're both going through our own version of it, I realized that there were moments where we couldn't be there for each other because we're dealing with all this happening in ourselves. And so to be understanding to somebody else who's going through a hot flash or having a mood swing and then reacting on it, it's like, no, I can't deal. It was like too much.
I'm someone with very little patience to begin with. So these, I call them self-combusting. I mean, it's just more than a hot flash or hot flush, the proper term. But for me, it's just, I'm dying from the inside. And when you're dying from the inside, so it feels like, kindness for me is the first thing. Patience, I don't have much of it. So it went out the window on a good day. And she gets angry when she's hungry. And so add all of that together, I thought, wow, this is going to be, the next 30 years are going to be a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, we hear people with, the golden years, and it's the best years of your life, and we're like, when do those happen?
And then a little patch over here and a little ball before I go to bed, and oh my God, I see myself again, I can think, I can focus. I've always been someone who can focus through everything. And I was just all over the place. I didn't recognize myself. And so, two of them, look at it, I'm talking about us like it's two of them. the two of us together, I mean, it was just a nice little parade of anger and frustration, and you don't understand. And sometimes we'd have conversations, and then now we know that it's not us. It's just a moment in time where our hormones are a little all over the place, and we're able to, after a few minutes of shit show, then we're able to just, the brain kicks in and we're like, okay, no, this is not even us. It's not even normal. Let's close this conversation and open it up when we're human again.
Yeah, we are getting better at just leaving conversations because we realize we're having them for no reason in the time. But I was just going to say, because I'm thinking back to like what happened for me to join her on the hormone therapy wagon was because of the work that I do, which is I partner with horses to help people. And horses are very sensitive animals, and their language is energy, and they act like mirrors to whatever energy you bring in their presence. Every time I was going down to be with them, they were reflecting who I was being without me really realizing that's where I was at. So they were acting frustrated, they weren't getting along, and I was like, what's going on? Until I looked at myself and I was like, oh.
And I was like, thank you, horses, because you're reflecting how she's being with me, and it's not very nice.
Vice versa.
Of course, vice versa. You bet. For health purposes and doctors, we made a big change from a general doctor to a nurse practitioner. And that has made a world of difference. It took a year for me to be able to get in with this person. It took a year for Margarita after me but now we're with the same nurse practitioner. We can be seen at the same time. And the care, the attention, the research, she will take the time that we need to be taken care of. She will do all the tests that are needed. Have you ever received an email after the fact, a week after you've had an appointment with your doctor, with a list of ideas and a list of things to try, and I was thinking about you ladies, and here's what I would like for you to, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. I'm so I'm so happy to have listened to my intuition, to move the ball in a different court, because I feel right now that I can ask my questions, dumb or not. I can have debates and not be judged and not be, told you can only cover one thing.
And she practices something called functional medicine. So she comes from many different angles. It's like body,
health.
mind, spirit.
Yeah.
It's like everything. It's not just
The chemical aspect and the medicine aspect, which I feel is more in alignment with who we are individually, but also together as a couple. Yeah. Sex is obviously it's important. It's important to a woman, a man, a couple. In 32 years of being together, we've had high highs and low lows in our sex life.
I'll just say for me, there's nothing, I don't even know how to say this. I don't feel like anything has changed for me physically, because I know sometimes with women it can get painful or it can get, so I'm not experiencing that. I think for me, it's in the head. It's like before, where it was really important for me to have an active sex life. Now it's like don't you find it's different? Yeah,
it's less the focus. And we've had a business our entire life together. So that business has also taken a lot of room in our couple and in our sex life. At times it enhanced our sex life. At times it completely hindered it and put it in the dumpster. And ultimately, I think that our sex life has changed. It's evolved. It's better in so many ways. I've always been ultra sensitive. I've gone through thick and thin as a kid. There's been a few traumas in my life. So as a result of that, I'm used to dealing with weirdness in my sex life. So for me, I'm just more mature with all of that. So that's the positive side. We are more understanding between each other.
Yeah.
And she's experiencing the greatest. I have never seen orgasms like this in my, initially I thought, I am that good. That's right. But I know it has nothing to do with me. She sees white universe. Like she goes into this place where she becomes uber silent, and I'm like, oh, she's in that beautiful white silence place.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I would say it coincides. I've never really thought of it that way, but it is coinciding with when I started having symptoms, menopausal symptoms, and I started getting visual orgasms. Like they're just visual. And I go to this whole other world, and I can't even describe it because
she tries to.
I tried to. I'm like, it's like a kaleidoscope. Oh wait, no, it's like checkers. I'm trying to.
No, because she's had hot flashes, and it's
not a hot flash.
It's only at a certain point of climax, and I know that because I'm the witnesser and the giver, and I don't know. It's just great. And then I go into oh my God, what am I missing? Because I feel like I'm missing that part. I can even go, what color do you want tonight? And she will actually give me a color, and it'll actually be in that, I don't know, I tell you, I'm that good. This is what's happening. I'll choose to leave it at that. I think for me, it's about following my intuition, because I know I've been in this body for almost 52 years. I know my body, and there's so many tips and things that are being shared that are taken for face value, but they're not real, they're not true. And they might be true for some, but not for you. So when Margarita decided to go on hormone therapy, it was obviously her intuition told her to do that, but also we were having conversations. The horses were very clear, but also the conversation of, we live longer than ever before. You know, years and years and years ago, we'd live till 25, 27. Of course, the body didn't have time to deplete itself of hormones. Now we live longer than ever. So you can either choose to live in a way where your body doesn't get what it needs to thrive and to function, or you can actually listen to your body, listen to your nurse practitioner, your doctor that is helping you feel better. We're in the last chapter, or maybe depending on how long we live, but the few last chapter, the last act of life. I don't want to have it frustrated, pissed off, angry, hot as hell, and in sweats from head to toe. That's not a life. I'd rather actually die younger than live like that. And we're all going to die of something. So at least let it be. So let it be in the best of the ways, especially because we're still fairly young. I mean, I did not have my period as of 44 or 45. That's way too young to not have the fuel that a body, the skin, the organs, the brain, the body needs hormones. Otherwise, it wouldn't produce it. Now, I'm no doctor. I know I haven't done a massive research on that. That's just gut feel. And my gut feel has never gotten me in a wrong path. So
for me, I wish I had taken more time earlier on for myself to understand what was going on, to maybe see sooner that I was actually struggling with things, instead of putting it into my outside world, creating arguments, creating, friction where we didn't need to have friction.
And at the same time, it's making us who we are today. We're learning from all of that. And I would add to that, a little humor goes a long way.
True.
We have tricks when there's a guru, his name is Sadhguru. I'm sure that there's plenty of people who know Sadhguru. That name just makes me happy. I don't know why. So when we're in full-on beginning of argument and we just stop and just go, Sadhguru. And then, I don't know, it just makes us laugh, Or there's little TikTok videos with kids, like, what the hell? A little kid that just go, what the hell? And it's just the cutest thing. And we just add humor to break a silly pattern that will go nowhere, that is not even controllable, and just breaking it, putting some music on, having some fun, changing the conversation, separating ourselves and just coming back together for dinner. That's one thing we do as well. We always have dinner together. We always go to bed together. We have a gratitude practice on the pillow before we go to bed, and all those little things, whatever those practices are for you, for us, it does help. But laughing is a good medicine. Mm-hmm. If we can't laugh at ourselves, man, trouble.
I'm hoping to feel a lot cooler. That's number one. Oh yes, they are.
For me as well, it was immediate, yeah.
But it's still, I noticed that even though I don't have the rush I used to have at all, it's not the same. I still notice everybody's wearing a sweater or a jacket, and I'm like,
peeling it off.
Yeah, so there's just differences, but it's definitely been night and day difference with the hormone therapy.
And I think for me, our future, we want to travel again more. We traveled we've had a few businesses in our lifetime together. And now we have horses. So with horses, obviously there's a lot less traveling. And so I want to still be helpful, still be of service. I think we will always be of service in a business of some form to make life better, but ultimately doing it with more flexibility, more freedom, and just having a lot of fun.
I think too, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's already started to shift for me, because as she mentioned earlier, we have a business that helps business owners and their teams. And I love that work. And more recently, I've been really called to put out the equine work in community and do experiences for community. And that's just speaking to me. And so when she says we'll probably always be of service, I believe her, and I already feel a shift happening in that for me anyway.
And I know that we have a lot of laughter to have still together. And we got married at our 10th anniversary, but also it wasn't legal at the time. And now it's legal, so we did it 2 years ago on December 5th, the day that this whole adventure started many, many years ago. And we restated our vows, and in our vows it's about, having more adventures and more fun. And I think that when we're older, we can do that,
Thanks for watching this episode. For more menopause stories like this, subscribe below. And don't forget to click the bell so you are notified when we drop a new episode. Did you connect with this story? Let us know by adding your comment and by sharing and liking it. Shared storytelling helps us learn what's happening to our bodies and reminds us we are not alone.